All right, let me just remove this. Okay, we are looking at the beginners as well as intermediate classes. Now, the sessions themselves, they are broken into two, right? So there's two sessions, which is the intermediate / advanced session, as well as the beginner session. Now, the beginner sessions are on a Wednesday rather at 7 p.m. as the schedule says so. Okay. Now, if you're brand new or if you're not confident enough, if you feel like you don't know where you are, you should probably be with the beginners. Okay. Now, beginners, the main classes include obviously the introduction to what Forex is, who are the main participants, deciding which market to trade. Okay. I will be going over something that has been a very hot topic quite recently, okay, and that is the NASDAQ. Right? All of a sudden, people just feel like the NASDAQ is this cash cow, and I will be going over a few pointers regarding that as well. Fundamental analysis, okay, so how to look at markets from a fundamental standpoint, technical analysis tools, and also the MT4 platform, right? How to use your MT4 platform to log in, right? And how to place trades, the works, all the basic stuff. So that is what the beginner classes will comprise of. Okay. Now, if you're not following or if you have questions, just either chat, right, and let me know so I can unmute you, or just raise your hand. Okay, and then I'll unmute your mic and then you can speak and just ask whatever questions that you're uncertain of them. Okay, so that concludes the beginner's classes. Now you probably need about 1 or 2 beginner sessions before you can progress into the intermediate sessions. Okay. It's just to make sure that we're all on the same page, because if you're jumping through to the intermediate stuff, some of the terminology and stuff we talk about there might confuse you, and it's very difficult to sort of like move forward with this. The fundamental or the basic stuff doesn't make sense to you. So 1 or 2 of those, I'd suggest 2, go into the beginner sessions twice at least, or there is a recording of one of the sessions, and I do believe I've uploaded it and put it in a playlist, right? So I uploaded it onto YouTube and I've done a playlist, and I can send through the playlist for you guys in the group, and then from there you'll be able just to watch that at your convenience. So you don't have, if you've done that 2 or 3 times at least, right, watch those videos 2 or 3 times, then you can just pop in through to the intermediate sessions and you shouldn't have any issue there. Okay. Like I said, some of the stuff over here I won't be covering simply because we do have already like the video content for it. Okay. What I'll do, I'll just send through a link for that particular session, and then we're gonna have sort of like a Q&A session afterwards. So we'll review whatever information that we have. Okay. If you watch the videos, you take notes, because I think that's the most critical part. If you're going to be watching videos or attending sessions, you must have some sort of a notebook where you write down all the important stuff, because you're going to have questions, right? Even if you're watching the videos, you're going to have questions, and obviously the best time for you to ask those questions is the next time we'll have a session. So when there's a session, it's sort of like open time, right? You can ask whatever questions that you might have, because some of you guys do ask questions on WhatsApp, but I mean, you probably responded to 110, 112 WhatsApp messages, and sometimes your message might get answered 2 or 3 days from now, So eventually I do answer, right? I make sure I do, but obviously with the amount of people that I'm talking to, chatting with on a daily basis, it makes it difficult for me to answer you immediately. But during the sessions, I mean, you can just write down whatever question that you might have if I don't answer it, and then you can ask them during the session. Okay. Now, with the module 7, we're just looking at basic market structure, Fibonacci, short-term strategy, which is sort of like scalping, right? Day trading, trading indices, the German DAX, FTSE, And you can also include the NASDAQ. Now, I don't want to go too far without addressing the issue or the interesting topic, the hot topic regarding the NASDAQ. I do believe a lot of people who are trading the NASDAQ right now shouldn't even be trading the NASDAQ, okay? Simply because an index is an asset class, you can basically say that, and it behaves like an index would behave. It's generally a bundled up stocks, right? In the example, it could be anything, right? There's a currency index, right? There is these indices which are stock indexes. That's all it is. It's the top 100 tech companies in the US, right? And it just gives you a general idea of how well the US stock market is basically doing. So the top 100 companies there, and the S&P 500, also top 500 companies there. And the German DAX, obviously the top German companies, 30 of them. And top 40 is the South African one. Okay, the SA top 40 is the index for the top 40 performing companies, publicly traded companies on the stock market. So there is a lot involved in understanding these markets. You have to be in tune with the fundamentals, right? You need to know what's happening in US markets on a general scale. Okay? Obviously, the technical analysis, you should have a really good ability, but the most important thing is that your account size needs to be able to take the extra, okay? The aggressive, first is the volatility involved in trading an index, right? Your account size need to be decent, right? And of course, the larger amount that you actually need to trade it in general, because the moves are much more aggressive, right? So the points, pips are different from points. I'll go through that concept, right? And I'll show you guys how to measure points as opposed to pips, because a lot of people, they're using the MT4 platform, okay? And when they're trading the NASDAQ, they think that they see 1,400 pips, and they think it, or points rather, and they think it directly translates to 1,400 pips, which isn't the case. Okay, and they get a surprise when they trade a 0.01, and when they drag their stop loss, the stop loss is like $80, and they're trading a $100 account. They're like, how did I get there? But now, the issue with trading in NASDAQ on a very small account, okay? Yes, you can make a lot of money very fast, but the inverse is also true. You can lose a lot of money very fast. Okay, so for me personally, if you have at least 1,000 US dollars, at least minimum, bare minimum, 1,000 US dollars, you can think about trading an index, right? If you have less than 1,000 US dollars in your trading account, then I mean, I doubt you have any business trading an index at all whatsoever. You should focus more on improving your skill, trading currencies. Okay, because if you can trade currencies pretty well, you can basically use higher lots, bigger lot sizes rather, to make up for the lack of volatility in whichever market. I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but it doesn't make sense if you're not a really good trader trading currencies, and you're just going to go and be a bad trader in the NASDAQ just because it pays out more, quote unquote, then you're just going to make more money then. Right? So if the market is kicking your ass in currencies, it's going to kick your ass in indices. So just focus on improving the technical ability. Stick to currencies if you don't have at least, I mean, that's also a big thing, but at least 1,000 US dollars for you to trade indices. You'll be able to do so comfortably without having to sit in front of the charts each and every night worried about your position going 10 ticks or 15 ticks against you, and then wiping your entire account. So a lot of people prescribe to this method of They fund the account today, by next week the account is gone, right? Or it doubles or triples, and then the other week it's gone. So you don't want to fall into that trap, right? You want to have consistent growth of your account, making money on a consistent basis. You may not make money every single day, but on a consistent basis, you can take out money from your trading account to pay for whatever expenses, as well as, treat yourself when you have to. Okay. So I will give you guys like a chart. I know I did say this previously. I'll do a chart where I'll show you what lot size you should be trading in general if you're going to be trading indices. And that's like a maximum. It's going to be the maximum lot size you can actually trade, and that's going to give everyone a really good idea of how much risk per trade they're going to be placing, right? So I think that should scare off a lot of people who are trading with less than $1,000 from trading the Nasdaq. Right? But focusing on currencies, there's a lot of opportunities in currencies. Currencies, they move beautifully, guys. I mean, currencies are perfect, very simple to trade, and very simple to make money off of. If you know what you're doing, and if you can keep calm and your emotions in check, you'll be able to do so consistently. Okay, so at number 10, we're going to be doing swing trading. That's basically trades that are going to last about 3 to 5 days on average, right? So we're going to start off with the basics of that, and then mastering sort of like the entries and exits of swing trading, right? So, and the management of the trades, and refining when a trade goes in your direction, how do you leverage off it? And when it goes against you, how do you get out of the trade? Do you average out, or just close out all your positions at the same place? So that's something that we're going to be looking at as well. And one of my most hated, because a lot of people hate risk management, for consistent profit. So risk management is basically a concept that involves understanding the amount of pain tolerance, quote unquote, that you have. I think everyone has this dollar threshold or rand threshold where if they lose X amount of money, emotionally and psychologically, they're not okay. Right? Now, it grows as your account grows, but everyone has that amount. If you lose $10 on a trade, I'm pretty sure you won't kick your dog or run around acting like a maniac. But if you lose 100,000 rand in one single trade, obviously that's going to affect you psychologically, depending on who you are. But generally, I mean, you will have that, because I've woken up to trades that were going the opposite direction of what I thought they were gonna go, right? And when you wake up, there's massive losses. But obviously, if you used to that, okay, it doesn't seem like a lot of money, right? I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but the more consistent you grow your account, the bigger it gets, the less painful, and the more you get to understand that. I mean, losing money is part of the game. You just need to make a lot more money than when you win than when you lose. Basic, guys, very fundamental, very simple. Now the other part is creating the trading plan. Trading plan is sort of like your business plan, something that you're going to look at and have this way of conducting your day-to-day trading. All right, you guys are with me. Okay. Sorry, guys, can you hear me? Okay. Right. I'm not sure if I'm hearing background noise as well. Okay. Right. So as I was saying, creating a professional trading plan, it's sort of like the business plan that you have as a trader. Now, without this, okay, the day-to-day ups and downs in the market will sort of like take you on a roller coaster ride, right? So with a trading plan, I mean, you can go weather the ups and downs because, you know, obviously long-term success and the stuff that basically going to be doing is going to get you to where you need to be. All right. Now, another important thing, I think at 14 is trading while at work, right? A lot of people, I do get this question a lot. A lot of people want to quit their jobs. I mean, who likes a boss? No one, I don't think anyone likes anyone telling them when to wake up, when to come to work, when to leave. So a lot of us get into trading, and me included, got into trading because they wanted to get rid of the person who tells them when to wake up and when to leave and how much they're getting paid. And therefore, we're so excited that we want to quit our jobs to focus on trading. So the one way that, the one thing that I usually do advise is you don't need to quit your job just as yet. So a lot of people just want to come in, they haven't even made anything yet. You know, I mean, they haven't even made 1,000 rand, 5,000 rand, 10,000 bucks. I mean, nothing, but they want to quit their jobs. So this sort of like system will basically help you trade around your job. And once you get to a certain level, I usually say if you get at least 6 to 8 months worth of consistent results, right, and certain account size, then you can start thinking about quitting your job, right? There's a few things that you need to have in place to make the transitions very easy and simple, okay? Because a lot of people try to do that and end up putting too much pressure on themselves. Because trading does require you to dedicate a lot of time, right? And it can be very difficult, especially in the beginning. So you want something reliable, okay, on the side, right? But you want to make trading your main objective, right? You're like, okay, I want to be really, really good at this. I know I have the capacity and the ability to do so. It's just that I need to focus on the long-term results because that's really where you have the great advantage because most people are just focused on today. You know, people are focused on making money in the next 10 seconds, in the next 1 minute, but you want to be next 1 year, 10 years, 20 years from now. You know? Trading on certain markets, I mean, that is sort of part of the psychological part of things where we determined, I mean, we didn't really need to do a lot of studying for that, that markets are uncertain. A lot of people like to think that they can predict the market, right? But really, truly, no one really can do that. And you don't even need to know how the market's going to move in order for you to make money, which may sound weird to a lot of people who are a bit newer in the industry. But guys who are consistently profitable understand that you don't need to know where the market is going in order for you to make money. Okay. Now, if you have, you just not making predictions, okay? Because the word prediction is sort of like you have some level of certainty. And the more you expect to be right, right? So the more you expect to be right when it comes to trading, and you do get a trade that goes in the opposite direction, the more difficult it is for you to trade. So I take you through the exercises that you can do, right? Understanding that markets are uncertain, but you can make a heck of a lot of money in these uncertain markets without knowing where the market is going to be going next, but you still make money. Because sometimes you know where the market is going, but you still lose money. And you ask yourself, I was right, their direction is up. I mean, it's up big, right? And I did buy, but I ended up losing money. How did that happen? So same thing with winning trades. Now, mastering probabilities. Now, probabilities is, it might seem like it's a sort of like a mathematical or stat type of a course or something like that, but something very basic, very simple, and with a bit of time as well as practice and understanding, of course, you'll be able to use the laws of probability in your favor to make trading work for you. And it really helps you not to be nervous anymore. I mean, I've never met any trader who is nervous, one who's depressed when they're losing money, one who is ecstatic when they're making money. I mean, all profitable traders that I know are very neutral, right? They're very calm. I mean, you wouldn't tell whether I'm making money or losing. That's one thing you could never tell about me. I'd be down 50 grand in the past couple of minutes, and you wouldn't be able to tell anything. So that's something that you sort of like learn. Right? I usually say that my breaks, my panic breaks have worn out, so I don't panic anymore. But it's something that you learn and you adjust as time goes by. And I'll be showing you guys how to use that to your advantage by simply understanding probabilities when it comes to the market. Okay. And I think the last part will be how to pick a broker. Right? I did cover this for the new guys about what a broker is. If you're not sure, you can go through to the document and also the playlist. I think with the playlist that I put together, there is a video there, one of the top ones that explains what a broker is, how to pick one. I don't believe I've put that in there, so I'll have to put a video. I've done a video before on how to pick a broker, but the fundamental things are regulation. Is the broker licensed, right? What sort of license do they hold? Where is it licensed in? Okay, because there's a lot of different regulatory bodies around the world. It's licensed by FSCA, which is the South African regulatory body, or are they licensed in Seychelles? So understanding all of that is important because the broker is someone that you're going to be working with closely in helping you make money. So if your broker is for you and you have really good trading skills, I mean, you'll be able to make a lot of money. But if you have really good trading skills, but the broker is against you, he can make it a bit difficult for you to make money. Doesn't mean that you won't make any money, but he can make it very difficult. So you want a broker who is on your side and basically wants you to win because they understand that if you win long term, it's profitable for them, not short-minded brokers. Okay. All right, guys. Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? Anyone wants to ask a question right now? Okay. Anyone with anything on their mind? Like I said, today this is just a question and answer session. I mean, because there's no real topic or agenda or that sort of thing. I just decided to do this because I've been getting a few questions and I just wanted to answer those. One of them regarding the NASDAQ. I think I've covered that already. Okay, so in short, stay away from the NASDAQ unless you have a decent sized trading account. And stay away from the NASDAQ using trading strategies that you haven't tested or back tested. Okay, and this here, 14, how to back test, is something that's really going to help a lot of you guys because a lot of people, they take a strategy, right? Doesn't matter where they take it from, but they apply it in live markets with real money immediately, and then immediately it gets into 2 or 3 losing trades, and then they ditch that one, and then they get another strategy, and then it loses 2 or 3 losing trades as well, and then they ditch that one as well. So you want to take a strategy, back test it properly, not just look through charts for examples where the trade worked out, but actually sift through the markets and critically analyzing. It's not like you're trying to prove that the strategy doesn't work in a way, right? Well, you'll get to it. Number 14 is very interesting, but you're trying to prove that the strategy does work. So if you fail to prove that the strategy that you're trying to use doesn't work, it means it works, right? So it's sort of like you're trying to you kill your own creation. So with proper back testing, it gives you confidence because if you back tested with data from 2016 or 2000 or 1999 to now, and consistently the strategy itself has given you X percentage per month, per week, and per annum, then you know your numbers, which means you know how many trades in a row it wins generally, how many losses you're going to have in a row generally, because trading losses are part of the game. They're like business expenses. You can't get rid of them. There's no way to jump around losses or run around them or go underneath them. You are going to get a loss, a losing trade, right? And you need to know how to handle it. The only thing you can do is those losses must be smaller than your wins in general. So you just make sure that at the end of the month, end of the week, end of the year, you have more money in the bank in terms of profits than you have losses. Okay. So you're just looking at trading as a business. That's it. Okay. All right. Do we have any questions, guys? All right. I hope I addressed the NASDAQ situation, because a lot of guys have been asking me about the NASDAQ and whether I trade the NASDAQ or whether we're going to be doing strategies on the NASDAQ. Like I said, if you have enough in your trading account for you to trade the NASDAQ or any index for that matter, then sure, definitely you can go ahead. But if not, there's no need to rush. The index doesn't go anywhere. I mean, generally, the index, I don't trade it often. Okay, I've said this before. I'm not actively trading in index. The index is a great way for long-term investment though. Okay, so if you're looking for long-term investment, trading in an index is a really good strategy, obviously except in recessionary markets. But generally, trading an index or in an index and putting your market there will give you a really good return over time, definitely. Okay, whether it's a commodity index or stock index or even a currency index, generally you're going to get a good return over time. So read up a bit more about that, okay, for your long-term investment. And then for short-term trading, you can just focus on currencies for now and then expand into your indexes, sort of like your German DAX, your FTSE, your CAC, whichever ones that you prefer and which suits your style of trading, then you'll be able to focus more on that one. Okay. Now, if we don't have any questions, guys, I think we have a few minutes left. Now, as I said, you guys, right? Wednesday, 7 p.m., right? And the guys with a bit more experience, Tuesday as well as Thursday at 7 p.m. You don't need to attend a lot of beginner session. Right? You probably need about 2, like I said. But if you're going to be watching the videos that are on YouTube, you might just need 1. You might not even need to attend the beginner session. You can just watch those, take notes on them, and then once we have another session, you can just bring those notes with the questions and then just ask them. Okay. All you do is you raise your hand, and then yeah. All right. Yeah. You got a question there, Kenny?
Okay. Okay, which time frame do you usually prefer to analyze your market?
It depends on what I'm looking to do with the market. And so if I'm looking for a short-term scalp, obviously I'm going to go for the smaller time frames, but there is no fixed rule. I usually start though from the higher time frames in any case, even if I'm going on a short-term scalp. But obviously the execution won't be on a smaller time frame if I'm looking at a swing or position trade. So daily time frame, at least minimum, and I'll go down through to my 4-hour as well as my 1 hour time frame. Okay, but that's about as low as I go for my swing as well as position trades. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Because I mean, with analyzing markets, sometimes you just get too focused on that one particular chart. Let's say the 15-minute chart, and you lose sight of what's going on around you. And when you switch, I'm pretty sure everyone who's traded before has done this. You're so focused on the trend, it looks down in the Euro USD on the 15 and 1 hour chart, and you go on through to your daily or your weekly, and you realize that, I mean, it's the total opposite of what you thought it was. Okay. So just focus on 2 or 3 time frames that you look at, because you're going to get different ideas from different time frames. And your daily might be showing you uptrend, right? And your 1 hour might be showing you a downtrend. So it depends on what you is looking for specifically. Like I said in the beginning, if you're looking at the short-term trades, right? Obviously, the 4 hour, 1 hour, as well as 30-minute time frame will do. But if you're looking at long-term position trades, you're looking at your daily, your weekly, as well as your monthly. Okay. All right, guys. Do we have any other questions? Okay. Let me see. Strategy. I mean, with that account that size, there's not really a. Okay, so the question. Let me just repeat the question. The question goes: can you suggest a strategy to grow your account of $20? I mean, any strategy can work in growing an account if obviously the proper risk management protocol is followed. Because I think a lot of people get sucked into the idea that the shorter term strategies work better or they make more money than the longer term strategies. Okay, so they believe that scalping makes more money than day trade, than swing trading or position trading, which in most cases is quite the opposite. Okay, because scalping, short-term trading, number one, requires a lot of time, a lot of energy, and it also requires you to be glued to the chart and sort of like have this thing about you that says, I want to be right most of the time. Okay, with position trading and swing trading, you don't have to be right most of the time in order for you to make money. Okay, so if you have an account size that's small, I mean, it would depend on what you want to make out of it. If you want to just slowly grow it, definitely, obviously, I'd say swing trade. But if not, then I think you should just add more into your account so you'll be able to trade short term. Okay, I hope that made sense. So it has to be a swing trade or long-term strategy. But if you're asking specifically from the ones that are in the ebook, I mean, you can go with either one. You just use a higher time frame. You can use strategy 1. Just use it on the higher time frames, like 4 hour as well as 1 hour and daily. Or even if it's strategy 2, you just use your 4 hour daily as well as 1 hour time frame. Okay. Okay, another question says, you said trading plan to trade more than 3 currencies. Okay. If you have a trading plan and your trading plan says you don't trade more than 3 currencies a day, I mean, that's fine. I mean, more than 3 currencies, to have 3 currencies on your watch list or 3 currencies actively on, because there's a difference between having 3 currencies open up on the chart or 3 running trades from 3 different markets. So I always suggest that you have a sort of like a level where you don't exceed in terms of exposure. So that means I don't want to have more than, let's say, 4% in total exposed of my account equity. That basically means if I'm going to be risking 1% per trade, then I don't want to have more than 4 trades running at a time. So I think 3 is okay. okay, is definitely okay. And yeah, I think you should have also a stop out point. So if you say, if I lose 2 trades, for example, for the day, I'm done trading for the day, and there's specific cutoff points. We'll get to that when we get to the trading plan. So no need to worry about that too much right now. Okay. I think we literally have 1 minute left. So if you guys don't have any other questions, okay, checking for questions. Right, I don't see any. All right, so I'll end off today's session here. Okay, we'll see you guys to do market preview, obviously on Monday around 7 p.m. We're just going to be checking out the markets, planning out our trades, and then Tuesday I'll be with the advanced guys, and Wednesday I'll be doing the beginner session. Just if you're not sure where you're supposed to go, just send me a WhatsApp message and I'll reply to you. Okay. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend as well as your day, and check you guys on Monday. Cheers.